Welcome back to another Richard Sherman podcast. Today, we had a great slate of games. I'm going to start with the Denver Broncos versus my Seattle Seahawks. It was a great game. Mike Macdonald's debut. It did not start how you want a game to start. A sack, an interception. I mean, there were two safeties in the first half. That was not the way you draw it up, ladies and gentlemen. But defensively, they stood up. The real test and measure of a great defense is not how you're doing when everything's going great and you're getting sacks, you're getting interceptions. It's when everything's going wrong. When Murphy's Law kicks in and everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Do you implode? Do we start pointing fingers? Do we start getting angry? Do we start, do we fold on defense and start putting our hands up? No, you respond. And that's what the Seattle Seahawks defense did over and over and over again in this game. Big-time turnover in the first half by Jordan Love. A big-time stand after that turnover to hold the Denver Broncos to 3 points. The offense gets a safety. Again, you could sit there and suck your teeth. What's going on? But no. Mike Macdonald has done a good job creating a really good culture with these players. They believe in one another. They believe in each other. They believe in the system. And they just kept fighting. They would not give up. They kept pursuing every single time. You could count 2, 3, 4 defenders in the play. It's not about missing tackles. Missed tackles happen. It's about being the only one there after the miss happens. This game, you could see how well coached this defense is, how hard they're playing, especially in the secondary, the D-line. These guys, you're looking, and they're swarming to the football. One guy misses, the second guy is right there on it. The third guy, fourth guy, fifth guy, they're playing really fast. They're playing really confident, and they're playing really hard. The things you can't coach are effort and attitude, and that's what defense is all about. And you can see that Mike Macdonald has emphasized that to this team. And then the second half came. The Seattle Seahawks made the necessary adjustments on the offensive side of the football, started to find some gaps in the run game. Kenneth Walker found some room, really opened this game up, made some huge plays. Hopefully he's okay. Went out with an abdominal injury and didn't come back into the game. But I was really impressed by Devin Witherspoon, by Leonard Williams, by Riq Woolen, by Julian Love, by Geno Smith. Geno did not start the game particularly well, and by no fault of his own. You're under constant duress. Denver's defensive line looked really formidable. Their defense in general, Patriots Surtain is the best corner in the National Football League. It's really tough to debate that right now. And he was able to weather the storm. He didn't panic. He didn't start pointing the finger. He kept leading. He kept his poise, and he started to lead the offense. And at the end of the game, when they needed a big play, he hit Tyler Lockett on the biggest play of the game to seal the game. And reliable, Tyler Lockett, one-hand grab to seal the game. DK came up with a number of big catches to move the chains. And again, a tough matchup with Pat Surtain. Vance Joseph and the Denver defense deserves a lot of credit for what they were able to do in that game. They played a good football game. They just didn't have enough offensively, and by no fault of anybody's. I mean, Bo Nix, this is a rookie quarterback going against a really complex scheme, a lot of disguises, a lot of different looks. His first NFL game in a very, very, very hostile, loud, crazy, chaotic environment in Lumen Field. I think he did solid. But again, I was just so impressed by the Seattle defense. It looks like there's a bright future in Seattle. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that they're going to continue. JSN made some impact plays early on. Hopefully they can get, this offensive line more stabilized, more secure. I don't know what happened to George Fant. He went out early in the game, did not return. We did not get an update on that. Hopefully they'll get an update on that after the game. Abe Lucas is supposed to be working his way back into the lineup. Now they need him to expedite that process just a little bit more, Abe. Again, Seattle's defense forced 3 turnovers. They were not forcing turnovers last year. They were not playing this fast. They were not playing with this kind of effort and belief that they are this year. It looks like they got 12 men on the field. And yes, that's a shout out to the 12th man. I look forward to continuing to see this defense's growth. Obviously, they're going to have tougher matchups in the future. But right now, They should be feeling really good about themselves. I'm sure they'll go into the film room, correct the necessary things. There's a couple plays in there, couple leaky yardage in the run game where guys weren't gapped out, guys getting moved out of gaps, spinning out of gaps, but things that are correctable. But the things that you love to see when you turn on the tape is guys running, moving with their hair on fire, and that's what you saw from the Seattle Seahawks defense. Mike McDonald seems like he is doing a really good job, and he got these boys ready to play. I look forward to next week, seeing if they can do it again and how consistently they can do it, because that is going to be the thing that takes them as far. Consistency. Consistency is what great teams have. Anybody can do it once. Can they do it again? And I think they can. And again, talk about traditions. You had the greats. Cam Chancellor raised the flag. That's freaking fantastic. Marshawn was the ratings adjuster for Madden on the sideline. You'll never, ever see another time somebody gets on the sideline and gets to give the head coach of the home team a shoulder rub during the game. Now, I mean, they won the first one. That's Mike McDonald's first ever win. So now, does Marshawn have to give him a shoulder rub every game? I don't know. Maybe. It's a crazy environment in Seattle. It might just happen. Who knows? But all I know is this defense is playing great. This team is right where they need to be. Got some ways to correct it. I hope Kenneth Walker is all right, because he's a huge part of what this team is trying to do. And baby, let's get him next week. The next week, the Seahawks are at the Patriots in Gillette Stadium. The Patriots coming off a huge, huge win against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. This felt like a gimme game in the preseason. It does not feel like a gimme game now. This defense is playing well. Their offense is playing just good enough. So it's going to be another game that the Seattle Seahawks have to fight. Tough road environment. I'm looking forward to it. But the next game on the slate, it was just a bad day for the state of Ohio. Just a bad day. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Cleveland Browns. It was never really a matchup. It was a mismatch from the beginning. This Dallas Cowboys team had their way with a really, really good Cleveland Browns defense. This was one of the best defenses in the league last year. Deshaun Watson, I don't know what's going on with him. He just does not look the same. He does not look as confident as he once did. Does not look as sure of himself as he once did. But Dak Prescott, I told you guys. I told you. You're going to have to pay him $60 million. And they did. I'm surprised Jerry did it, because it didn't seem like he was going to do it. Didn't sound like he was going to do it, but he did it. Again, Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. You can argue with somebody else. I don't care about what you guys say. He was a second-team All-Pro last year for a reason. This team has had a winning record just about every season. He's been under center, always making the playoffs. They were the top scoring offense in the league last year. He's at the helm. It was Tom Brady's debut as a color analyst. That was pretty cool. But it just was not a great day for the Cleveland Browns. So we're just going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, 5 catches for 61 yards. Dak Prescott, 179, 1 TD. Eric Kendricks had a heck of a day for the Dallas Cowboys. He had 2 sacks and an interception. Looks like he made the right decision coming to Dallas. Micah Parsons looks like, again, he looks like a man-child. It doesn't matter where he lines up. He's a problem. He's moving grown men around in a way that you don't see very often. DeMarcus Lawrence had a really fantastic game with 2 sacks. Trayvon Diggs, welcome back, Trayvon Diggs. Welcome back, Trayvon Diggs, with 2 PBUs, or 2 passes defense and an interception. He gets to the ball. Al Harris has this secondary playing outstanding football. And the Cleveland Browns have one of the best secondaries in the National Football League. Obviously, Dak wasn't going to go crazy on this secondary. They got Myles Garrett. They were putting a lot of pressure on him. But overall, this is a really solid game for the Dallas Cowboys against a really good defense. Again, Deshaun Watson goes 24 for 45 for 169, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I don't know. Deshaun has played great in the past. He just does not look like the same player, and it's really concerning. Hopefully somebody has more answers for me. He's not looking confident. He's missing a lot of easy throws. He's not making quick decisions. He's staring down his receivers. It looks like a lot of regression, and I'm not sure what's going on, or I can speak on that. But welcome back, Ezekiel Elliott. That was pretty cool to see. Back in the Dallas Cowboys uniform, scoring. Hey, they gave it to him from the 5 and in. And again, he's still Ezekiel Elliott. He's still very heavy, and he's still going to get the ball in the end zone, and he's still doing it at a high level for the Dallas Cowboys. That was really cool to see.